Some evenings you sit on the couch, drink cold coffee, and think, why does this chair feel like a chore zone again? That small tug of overwhelm isn't just about clutter. It's the constant mental weight of I should have done more. It's wanting to feel in control, not sidelined by your own space. Today, we're meeting that feeling head-on. We'll talk through simple, doable steps to clear both your room and your head without adding more to your to-do list. I don't need to sort it. I just need it gone. There's this myth that decluttering has to be emotional, that every item needs a backstory, a decision, a moment. But sometimes, you're just tired. Instead of sorting piles, try this: set a date and rent a small dumpster or schedule a bulk pickup. Give yourself permission to let go in bulk, no sorting, no guilt. Fill it with the obvious things first. Broken stuff, boxes you haven't opened in a year, bags of random wires, things you don't want to explain even to yourself. This isn't about becoming a minimalist overnight. It's about clearing enough physical space so your brain has some room to breathe. Once the obvious is out of the way, the next step feels lighter because it is. Everything looks fine until I open a drawer. Your space might look fine until you open a drawer. Old batteries, tangled cords, expired lotion. It's quiet clutter that adds up fast. So try this once a week. Pick one hidden zone. Just one. A junk drawer, a cabinet, the bin under the bed. Set a 10-minute timer. Toss what's broken, useless, or expired. Wipe it down. Close it, knowing it's not adding to your stress anymore. You don't need a full overhaul, just fewer little messes waiting to trip you up. Next week, do another one. Clean the thing that's been quietly annoying you. Some mess isn't big or visible, it's just quietly irritating. A sticky drawer handle, a dusty vent, that one cabinet door that squeaks. These tiny annoyances don't make your home look messy, but they wear you down over time. So once a week, fix just one of them. Tighten the screw, wipe the grime, replace the bulb. It's not about aesthetics. It's about eliminating little stressors your brain has been tolerating on loop. Because when your space stops interrupting you, your mind finally has space to rest. I always drop things here anyway. You're not messy, you're probably just tired at the end of the day. So instead of trying to change that, work with it. Notice the spots where clutter always builds. Kitchen counter, end of the bed, that one chair. Then place a small bin tray or basket exactly there. That's your clutter catcher. No shame, just a system that catches the real behavior you already have. Every few days, do a 5-minute reset. Empty the baskets. Put things where they go. That's it. You're not failing at being tidy. You're designing around the life you actually live. Put limits on how much can pile up. Some mess doesn't come from what's already there. It comes from how much more we keep adding before we deal with it. So instead of waiting for things to overflow, give them a boundary. Choose one surface that often gets out of hand: the kitchen counter, the hallway bench, the coffee table. Then define a clear limit. Only 3 things allowed here. That could mean 3 jackets, 3 papers, or 3 random items. Once it hits the limit, something has to move. It sounds small, but it gives your brain a visible checkpoint, a way to stay ahead of the overwhelm, instead of always reacting to it. Boundaries don't just keep things tidy. They keep things from becoming stressful in the first place. Make things easier to put away than to leave out. A lot of clutter isn't caused by laziness, it's caused by resistance. If putting something away feels harder than dropping it, your brain will choose the easy option every time. So reverse that. Make putting things away the path of least resistance. Hang hooks by the door instead of expecting coats to go back in the closet. Use open baskets instead of boxes with lids. Store the hairdryer in a drawer you can reach without bending down. Little changes in design remove friction. Because at the end of a long day, it's not about willpower, it's about whether the cleanup takes less energy than the mess. Create a halfway zone for not done yet stuff. Not everything needs to go back into storage right away. Some things are in between used but not done. The coat you wore once, the book you're halfway through, the tote bag from the store that still has stuff inside. When these items don't have a place to land, they sprawl. They end up on chairs, doorknobs, counters, and stay there. So give them a halfway zone, a peg, a basket, a shelf labeled "Not Done Yet." You're not encouraging clutter, you're creating a buffer that keeps your space functional. It's a small shift, but it protects your home from turning into a staging ground for indecision. Give every floater a fallback home. Some clutter doesn't build up because you're messy. It's because certain items don't have a real home. The lighter, the charger, the gift card, you forgot to use, they just float around. So here's the fix. Create one small, uncertain things, drawer or bin. Not for junk, but for useful items that don't belong anywhere else. Label it something neutral, misc drawer or holding bin. When you find a floater, it goes there, no decision required in the moment. Then, once a month, scan it. Most things will either find a home, get used, or get tossed. Giving items a place to wait is better than letting them haunt every surface. I'll decide later, but not never. Sometimes the hardest clutter isn't junk. It's the stuff you're not sure about yet. Things you might sell. Things you're saving for someday. Things with weird emotional weight. And when you're tired, that mental fog makes everything feel heavier. So give yourself a shortcut. Grab a box label. It clearly decide later. Donate if not used summer clothes. Set a date on the label too, 3 months from now. If you haven't touched it by then, you're ready. You don't have to force decisions when your brain is fried. But you can move those decisions out of sight and off your mind. It's not spotless, but it feels better. Let's be honest, some days actually clean just isn't happening. But there are a few tricks that make a space feel cleaner fast. Clear the surfaces that draw the eye first. Kitchen counters, dining table, bathroom sink. You don't have to clean everything, just remove the noise. Then pillows fluffed, blankets, folded lights, warm. Open a window if you can. Even 5 minutes of this can shift the whole tone of the room. You're not faking it. You're caring for the version of your home that helps you breathe easier. One room calm is enough. When you feel behind, it's tempting to want a full reset, every room spotless, every drawer perfect. But that kind of all-or-nothing thinking, it keeps us stuck. Instead, choose one space. Just one. Maybe it's your bedroom, or the entryway. Somewhere small, where calm makes a difference. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Toss the trash. Fold the blanket. Stack the shoes. Light a candle. That's enough. You're creating one pocket of peace, and that one space clean, done, finished will make the rest feel more possible. Keep a pack-up bag for random chaos. Life throws mess at you, guests dropping by, school papers everywhere. Something spills right before dinner. You don't need a perfect system. You need a plan for when life's messy. Keep a large tote bag or laundry basket in a closet. When things get wild, do a quick sweep toss in the random clutter, zip it away, and deal with it later. Then when the moment passes, you can go back to it. Or not. At least it's not on the floor anymore. Sometimes peace means hiding the mess for now, and that's okay. You don't need a perfect system. You just need a home that doesn't make you feel behind all the time. Even one of these habits, one box packed up, one corner reset, can give your brain a break. And that's often all we're really asking for. If this video helped you breathe a little easier, feel free to like or subscribe. It helps us keep making content that fits the pace of your real life.